I'm going to read the next question. This is from Mahalia. What's life like on set during a COVID
So
outbreak?
it's for you. Yeah.
And that's for me. And I don't know yet. Our union has set out rules and regulations, and we will have to adhere to those. I know about them, but I don't know how it's going to work. Or I know that I'll have to get tested at least 3 times a week. I know that I will have to get tested pretty much every time I go to set. Everyone's going to have to wear masks. I know that there are protocols that are in place, and we're just going to have to see. I'm just really grateful that I have a job. This has been a tough time for artists, for the theater. They now are not opening the theaters until May in New York City. And my unions, SAG-AFTRA and Equity, are arguing about jurisdiction. Woohoo, crazy world. So
Yeah, it's tough times.
It's a tough time, but we'll persevere and we'll see what happens. We'll just have to see what happens. All right, next question. This is from Colby, and this is for me. What was it like working on Criminal Minds? It was fantastic. The cast was wonderful. It was fun. Every time I was there, I would do my best to make everybody laugh because the subject matter is very serious and everyone gets very serious. And I wanted to tell a quick story about when I was told that I was not going to continue with the show. And the showrunner, Erica Messer, brought me in, and I just adore her. And I had told her that I had been working on a show about serial killers, and I had a guest star, and they said they were going to bring me back. And I said, no way, because I am not going to die a bloody, horrible serial killer death. Sorry, just not going to do it. So I had told that to Erica. So Erica and I were talking, and all of a sudden I realized why I was in the office. I was being told that my character was going to die.
Oh.
And she started to well up, and I started to well up. She said, they've decided that they need something to end the season, and it's Aaron Strauss's demise. But I promise you, she said, there will be no blood. And that was very sweet of her. And I said, you know what? I've had a great run. And the issue with my character was that she became pro BAU, and I was no longer the nemesis.
Yeah.
So I sort of lost my role in a sense, because most of the time the characters on television series, they never change.
Yeah, that's right. It was a great, evolution of your character.
Yeah.
Which is also a little bit sad because I was like, she's not
a biatch anymore.
Yeah. I wanted to say that then. And I'm like, they're, killing her off. She's starting to become good.
Nice. I know.
I think everybody cried at that moment. Like everybody.
I had a woman come up to me in a frozen yogurt store. She said, "Oh my God, it's you. You're not dead."
No.
Can I give you a hug? It was very sweet. Very, very sweet. All right, your turn.
My turn. So, Daffodil asked, what is the best advice you ever got from anyone? Is there any motto you live by? So, I don't remember the best advice, because I think that when we receive a great advice, we hardly ever realize it's a great advice at the moment. I find it very hard to make decisions. And what I learned from people that gave me this advice, obviously because it doesn't come from me, is that
that's the whole premise.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You have to, make a decision that is gonna let you look at yourself through the mirror and think, I'm proud of what I see. So you you can't know if the decision you're gonna make is right or not, because nobody can see the future. But you have to make what's for you is the best decision, and what's gonna make you proud of yourself.
I
So
love that.
I don't even know if it's an advice, but that's what I learned. So I think it
Yes. No,
was.
I think that's because you're going to be beset by different choices. And I think if you can stop and think about that and not, that it could lead you down a more productive, positive path.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lots of P words in
Thanks
that
for
sentence.
saying that in English. Like
You're doing very well. I have two. One is an experience I had when I was about 11 years old. I sneezed in the hallway, and the teacher from the sixth grade, I was in fifth grade, who I just adored, said, "Was that necessary?" And I looked at him and I went, "No." He said, he looked at me and he said, "Of course it was." Don't ever let anybody tell you that something that you needed to do was wrong. And I've actually learned this lesson many times in my life. But at a very early age, he must have known that I was going to be a person who had interesting ideas and nonconformist opinions. And he wanted me to stand up for myself. Of course, I needed to sneeze. If you don't sneeze, you can have a heart attack. He didn't want me to be afraid of authority. And I didn't quite understand that for a little while, but that was a really wonderful lesson for me.
yeah, it's a strange way to give a very good advice to somebody.
It was, but it got my attention.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the other thing in my life that has had to happen.
Yeah.
Because I am always up in the clouds and thinking about things, and I think sometimes that's the way I need to learn. And the adage that I live by is the golden rule, which is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I try
Okay.
very hard to live that way. It's
So
not
it's kind
always,
of a life motto, is it?
yeah, yeah, the golden rule and kindness. Sometimes the hardest thing is to choose to be kind. That should never be misconstrued as weakness. I think sometimes treating somebody the way that you would want to be treated is also letting someone know what doesn't work for you, where your boundaries are. It's not always fairies and lollipops.
Yeah.
But I think if we all were to have a little bit more of that going on, I think we might be living in a less harsh, polarized world. That's just my opinion, but that's how I feel. So do unto others as you would have them do it unto you.
Yeah, that's a great life motto.
Yes.
And my life motto, I think, it's from Liliana Segre. She's a 90 years old Italian senator and Holocaust survival. And she asked people to write a word in the train station from which she left to Auschwitz when she was only a child. And this word is indifference. And what she said is indifference is worse than violence itself. And I think it's my life motto, because when I read books about her, I decided I never wanted to be indifferent to anything. I always wanted to live my life um, standing up against injustice and discrimination and things I think are unfair or not right. So I think that's my life motto. I don't want to be indifferent, and I think nobody has to be indifferent. So.
I love that. That's great. All right. Next question is from Jayne to Vivi.
Yeah.
Not me, but Jayne without the Y, but just as beautiful a name. How are people handling the second wave in Italy?
Well, that's an interesting question. We record this episode a week ago, and now my answer is a little bit different than 1 week ago. I think during the first wave, Italy did pretty well. We've been the first European country to be, severely injured by COVID, and I think we did well. Like 3 months under lockdown helped a lot. But during summer, we've gone on holiday, done stuff, hang out with friends, and I think the government just didn't do enough to get prepared to this second wave that we are now experiencing. They reopened the school, and they are now slowly closing them again. So there's a region in the south of Italy, Campania, where the governor decided to close schools because there's cases are increasing again. And in my opinion, every European country has already experienced the second wave. We have seen what happened to them. We've seen what happened to Spain, France, and United Kingdom. We could have been more prepared for the second wave. And about school, we have to do whatever it takes to keep schools open. You can't force a 6 years old kid to do school from home. Their parents are gonna freak out and they won't learn anything because 6 years old kids can't learn from a computer. They need contact and see things in person.
That's the other thing that I feel is really important. There is a cost to removing children from each other. There's something that punctures the innocence of children and entrains them to a certain level of fear. This is my opinion. That is inappropriate.
Jayne,
so Jayne has a second question for me.
Yeah.
You want to read that to me?
Yeah. How do you choose your projects, and what would make you feel safe in going back to work in this new world?
There's two ways that I look at projects. One is, what is the play or the movie or the TV show saying? I have a little more choice in the plays that I do, and I tend to play women who are beset by an issue and they overcome it, and because they overcome it, their life and the people that are around them are better. I love watching that metamorphosis, the butterfly, the expansion of a human heart and a human spirit. I love that. And then I will also do projects, and usually the women that I play are very strong, and I tend to want to bring heart to those women as well. And the TV shows that I've done have provided me the freedom financially to be a little more discerning about the plays that I do. So I go from Criminal Minds to a play about a woman who has a kind of ESP and tells her husband that she's going to go to Italy with 3 other women, and he says no, and she says, "You can't stop me, I have my own money." So I tend to have those opportunities, and I'm very grateful that I have both. And what will make me feel safe going back to a production is the measures that they're putting in place, and I'm watching everybody take it very seriously. And also what makes me feel safe is knowing that if I feel unsafe, I will speak up and I will take care of myself. I think this is the wisdom and the experience of a 61-year-old person, which I am, which is that the, again, silver lining is that you are forced, you being 21 and me, to know what makes you feel safe and what doesn't. And even though I'm working for a big company, and I have lots of people who are telling me what I need to do, if I don't feel safe, I will do what I need to do for me. And
Yeah.
that's also what makes me feel safe. So I want to encourage people to know, to listen. What feels right? What feels good? What is your body telling you? What is your heart telling you? This superpower, we all have it. And we're all being kind of forced to figure that out
Yeah.
because it's the wild, wild west in a way. So that's what makes me feel safe.